Welcome to Shore Perspectives, a community feature of WESR Radio, highlighting the spirit of the shore from those who call it home.
My name is Randy Lewis. I live in Watchbridge, Virginia, and I am currently, and have been for a few years, a commercial truck driver. And I drive up and down the road hauling essential goods and trees and shrubs from nurseries, which is I really enjoyed that.
Since the COVID-19 outbreak has begun in the United States, how has that changed things for the way you operate?
Well, that's a good question, Kelly. It's a whole new world out there, as everyone knows. Masks and gloves are standard procedure. I've got like 3 or 4 different ones on the dash here. This one I have when it's cold, and I can just pull it up and cover my face, cover my nose and mouth. And a lot of people use them as a mask. I don't know how effective they are compared to the masks that the doctors wear. I have different ones. You got a mask like that. Got one my sister made. That's a really nice one. And then, of course, we have the I call it a dust mask, but it has the I don't know, it says N95. I think that's the one that they kind of recommend, but you have to wear what's comfortable.
In your travels, have you discovered disruptions at distribution centers, especially food related?
Yes. The distribution centers are struggling to keep up, I guess, to say the least. As we know, people have been hoarding, for lack of better words, certain groceries. I'm not sure why the toilet paper and bottled water was part of it, but paper towels, I haven't been able to get a roll of paper towels for the truck in a couple weeks now. So sometimes when I go into some stores and tell them I'm a commercial driver, they will, reach out and maybe pull something out of their personal stock or supply. But yes, the waits at the distribution center, the turnaround times is probably 3 or 4 times as long. I've spent as much as over 24 hours, 21 hours. 6 or 8 hours is kind of normal. It's getting better now. I think initially when the hoarding first started, they just were caught by surprise, and so they couldn't catch up fast enough. But 2 positive things, I guess, from the COVID-19. Not many positives, but they're temporary. One is less traffic for a truck driver. That's a big plus. And then the fuel prices are down, which I'm pretty sure they won't stay down very long. There'll be a reason for them to go back up, but it is nice and it saves the company. I drive for Moore's trucking company in Belhaven. It's a good local company, and while I'm on that subject, obviously supporting our local businesses is a great thing, and the Eastern Shore people once again have stepped up to the plate and just doing a tremendous job. Supporting local restaurants and other businesses. You hear about it on the radio and you see it. I think we're pretty good around here in the face of adversity to step up to the plate. In a former lifetime, I was in the restaurant business, and Watchaprig, the Island House, drive-through's another animal that truck drivers have to deal with when we're on the road. It doesn't work too well with a big truck and a 53-foot trailer. Sometimes we can get walk-up service if it's a true independent type restaurant. If it's a service center or a truck stop, you can go in and go to the counter and get your your food or beverages, snacks, that sort of thing. But you have to take them out. You can't sit there. Well, they pulled all the tables out. Which is a shame because for drivers, it's nice to get out of the truck for a few minutes, at a rest stop or service center. I was in 10 states this week, 13 states last week. Went to Massachusetts twice. So I'm got that route down pat. I did notice, Kelly, going by the Newark International Airport, when I was coming back from Massachusetts on the first trip this week, it was during the day so I could get a good view. That's a big airport. And usually they're full of planes and jets, and you see them taking off and landing. The only jets that I saw there were FedEx. There was about 4, maybe 5 FedEx planes. I didn't see any other planes on the tarmac. Now, I was just glancing over as I was coming onto the turnpike, but normally there's traffic. They're backed up waiting to take off, and they're coming in for landings. I was at a distribution center across the turnpike from there for a number of hours before this really got started, and so I've seen the traffic there, and I've flown in and out of there a few times years ago. But I did see when I was coming down last night, there was a plane, a FedEx jet taking off. That's the first I've seen even a takeoff from there. And I'm sure they have planes that come and go. I just, there hasn't been many in my travels recently. I have a rescue dog, Coda, and we'll see if we can get him. Can you see Coda? He's a boxer bulldog rescue. My daughter found him on the internet. He's a great companion. When I get out of the seat, he hops right in the driver's seat, and people get a big kick out of it because he sits there. He sits right up like he's getting ready to start driving. Sometimes he blows the horn, he does it more in the car than in the truck. But I have to be careful what I eat because I was up in Maine. I hauled some chicken, up to Maine a few months back before this got started, and my back haul to come back down was bottled water from the Poland Springs plant. And so I just come out of that plant, and I got a sub, got some fuel and got a sub, and then had a little cooler at the time. And we went by this pond where they were ice fishing, and I was able to pull off because I wanted to take some pictures. And I put my sub, which I was just starting to eat, in the cooler. I wasn't out of the truck 5 minutes. When I came back, he's just finishing up the sub. I was so upset with him. He's a well-traveled dog. He's been from Maine to Florida, in several states, most states east of the Mississippi. Folks that do drive and have done this for years, because I kind of consider myself a newbie, but drivers that have done this for 10, 20, 30 years, I'm amazed. My hat is off to them because it's a very challenging occupation, and I believe that sometimes they don't get the credit or acknowledgement that they probably should. And I'm not speaking for myself. I'm just speaking for truck drivers in general, because they're responsible for moving a huge chunk of our daily groceries and supplies all over the country, and all over the world for that matter. But so driving with COVID-19 is a whole new ballgame. People appreciate truck drivers a lot more. I think they realize just what they have to go through. And also the first responders and nurses and doctors. You see signs, big signs everywhere, and you hear it on the radio. They are truly putting their life on the line. Another thing I've seen that I think is very encouraging to me, and it's like the Eastern Shore, people are working together. people are stepping up to the plate. They've gotten together and worked as a team. So you hear, we're all in this together. You hear that a lot, and that's true. I'm thankful to have a job, and I enjoy. I feel like I'm part of the team when I'm out there.
For Shore Perspectives and WESR Radio, I'm Kelly Gaskell.